Yay Networks.
Happy New Year and welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. We haven't seen y'all since last year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully you all had a wonderful holiday time.
I didn't
and are ready to work.
I did not script that for Fran. It sounds like he's reading off a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a nice holiday. We had intended on doing another podcast somewhere in the mix for y'all from home, but to be expected, everyone got sick. I still sound sick. We all got sick. I'm really stuffed up, and we're dealing with, the chronic double ear infections with Remy. So, now it's time for us to find a specialist. So that's kind of what's been going on in our life. But we had a really nice, sick but nice Christmas and New Year season.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you're still very humble, even though you are a super influencer now with 9 million views.
This is why we talk about what we're going to talk about on the show. This is something that we could have discussed, led up to what the views were. This is something I planned on talking about today. I had this whole idea of how I was going to tease it. I was going to talk about the story. I was going to talk about where it's at and make an announcement, and you just fucking blew your load all over.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm precautious. I'm sorry. I'm not precautious. How do you call it? Anyhow, so yes, I didn't receive the memo. How do you want it to approach your new super famous status?
Yeah, because you didn't make the meeting for the prep for the show.
I was there.
So it's so funny actually because I've never gone viral on social media. I mean, I think it's something everyone kind of hopes happens. And for me, it's never been. I really just kind of want to grow. I want to figure out what people are interested in and how to grow, and just transparently. I want to grow my following because I've never put a lot of effort into doing it. And also now that I'm a mom and I see what kind of content people are interested in, I kind of want to, and I'm not on the radio anymore. It's why would new people want to follow me? Why would my life be interesting and and that sort of thing. So I've kind of been playing around with different things intentionally to kind of see what hits. And I think going viral doesn't always equate to a lot of people are going to follow you. You have to consistently be offering shareable good content to people. But yeah, I had a really funny thing. I think it was actually, I keep thinking it was New Year's Eve, but I think it was the day after Christmas or something when this actually happened. But, just one of those days where you don't know what time it is. This period of time is so strange, right? That week after Christmas and New Year's. And let's be real, January kind of sucks, doesn't it? I'm the only one that feels that way. So it's kind of this warp of time that I never really realized until I was home the whole time with Remy, and we're kind of working, but not really. And anyway, so we're hanging out in the living room. It's 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm having a glass of wine. It's one of those days. And I'm trying to get Remy to play soccer. And there's a whole video that leads up to this, but I had edited this short clip of our security camera footage because of what happened, because Remy, of course, being a little maniac, reaches for my wine glass that I had just set down, and I swiped it and started celebrating that he didn't grab it. And then he picks up Fran's cold brew, which, I didn't even really notice was sitting on the table. It had been sitting there since the morning, and he just dumps it on the ground really aggressively. And of course I'm screaming Remy, no, why'd you do that? Well, I posted a short clip of that with no audio once I realized that I forgot we had that security cam for a second. So I went back and found it, and it was kind of funny. And I thought a lot of people would think it was funny. So I posted it to my stories, and I was just inundated with, my nice followers, people that currently follow me. Every single person was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I want to hear the audio. I know you were screaming. This is amazing. I've watched it 10 times. And so a couple days go by and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post the video because I think it's really relatable. It's really funny. I mean, I don't love that I was yelling, but I just thought it was hilarious. It's kind of one of those almost hidden camera moments, or, what's that show, America's Funniest Home Videos? I felt like it was kind of funny. I did not anticipate that it would get I thought a lot of people would like it. I wasn't like plotting, like, oh my God, this might go viral. I just thought a lot of people would be entertained. Y'all, if Fran already told you, as of last check this morning, it's at almost 9 million views and an insane amount of comments. It's like one of my most liked posts, but holy shit, the internet. I mean, I know this is the danger in sharing something like that, but like the criticism I'm facing, whether it's people tearing apart like Remy's name or how, I mean, the internet is a wild child abuse place. Like, not that I think spanking is child abuse, and to each their own, and I'm sure some kids need more discipline than others. Fran and I aren't really that type, or we haven't really made a decision on, if we're ever gonna discipline Remy that way. Like, I don't know if that's our approach. We're not gentle parenting either. So I don't really know. I mean, he's not even 2 yet. We haven't decided. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of criticism, but obviously I think a lot of parents, the quiet ones are the ones that are like, oh yeah, I feel like this is me. I feel like this is my life. So yeah, I don't know. Is this going to hit 10 million views? Like, I'm not sure. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, we're starting to look for bodyguards and stuff like that just to be able to keep the crowds at bay.
Yeah, absolutely insane, right?
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Weigh in. Let me know what you think. I'm doing okay. I think I actually, sometimes I get rattled when people are really mean about stuff on the internet, but I think once this hit like 500,000 and every time I was going on social media, it was like 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. And I realized that this might happen. I thought it'd stop at 1 million or 2 million. I can't believe it's just continuing. And it's only been 48 hours, not even. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. Not the thing I would have liked to go viral out of everything I've offered up on the internet. Funny stuff with Fran or, obviously people just like, that's what you get for naming your fucking kid Randy. And I'm like, it's Remy, fucking dick. Like, Randy. Yeah, Randy. So I've had like a little bit of fun with it. I've commented back a little bit. I don't really care that much. I hate to be that person that looks like defensive. I've kind of like gotten into it with a few people.
This is all I've seen of Jenna in the past 2 days.
That's not fair. That's not true at all.
Just kidding, baby.
Yeah, no, I think I've been really good with it. No,
There's
actually,
a little more expression into that.
No, I haven't actually done that very much. So, please, Fran, talk to me when you get a video that hits 9 million with literally 30,000 comments and people attacking you and your child, and let me know what you do with it. You're of course going to pick a few out every now and then to lay into for fun.
Yeah.
Usually I'm nice, actually. I'll go to their profile so it doesn't show up on mine. And some guy with this horrible band name and 500 followers was making fun of him. Like, you named that fucking loser after a cartoon rat. So I went to his account and I'm like, killer band name, man, like on his engagement photo. And I was like, imagine if I came here and just tore apart, your band name and your music. I went to his account.
You're going to these people's account and bully them?
No, I didn't bully. I was like, I hope y'all are happy. Like, I hope, you know what I mean? I hope no one makes fun of your child. That's what I'll say. Yeah. I've probably done 5 or 10 of those.
That's cool. I'm pretty sure it feels good.
5 or 10. Yeah, 5 or 10. No, what's funny is sometimes when you go and you're nice, people like apologize. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, whoa, But yeah, people are wild on there. My favorite comment of all, I thought I'd do like a top 5 mix of good and bad. My favorite comment of all was like, look at that little emo fuckboy in the making with that haircut. And I'm like, oh, that's a kind of a compliment. I like that one.
Yeah, whatever.
Little
as long as
emo fuckboy. Yeah, I like that one. Anyway, so this is the thing though. I'm not proud of that moment necessarily. I just think sometimes what I'm good at and what I always did on the radio is like I'm very comfortable sharing real life and not this whole everything's perfect all the time. And let's be honest, it's fucking funny. Like your kid, this is a toddler. Like he throws something on the ground. Everyone can sit here all day long and be like, my kids never did that. I'm so perfect. I would have spanked him. Like you have no discipline. One person wrote, he's going to grow up and be a school shooter. Like get the fuck out of here,
So are you going to have a formal press release about this newfound fame or some talk about what your next steps are? Or how are you going to keep up with that engagement now because you know what they say with great power comes
great
great responsibility.
No, I've thought about a little bit like, what do you do? But no, I've made a couple posts since then. But no, my story engagement hasn't gone up all that much. I think it's gotten me a couple thousand followers. So it's not like 10 million. But you got to think, this is just in the Explore tab. So people are seeing it, commenting on it, sharing it, and moving on. You know, they're not like, oh, who posted
Dwelling
this?
on it.
Well, they probably even think it's just like reshared from another account too, you know, because it looks like one of those videos. So anyway, no, I appreciate all the support.
I cannot wait. And I challenge you people
Why
to
are you
do a
yelling?
remix.
A remix?
Yes, like something funny out of it.
Oh, yeah, that would actually be funny. Remixing what your reaction would have been. Yeah.
Or
It's
putting music on it, like some nice beat.
I think it's an interesting social experiment in a way. Like I intentionally put a caption on there that was like, are y'all with 3 or more kids doing okay? Because I knew that it would get people kind of talking. I was just trying to be relatable. Not trying. I mean, it is a relatable piece of content, but I just thought, you know, but hey, the lesson is if you're trying to grow your social media a bit, I think shareable content is the key, right? You can talk about all these things, but what I've noticed with that video is a lot of people are sharing it to their own profile or share and being like, oh my God, I feel like I'm watching, you know, my kid at home, or in a positive way, or, you know, they're share. It has like 30, 40, I don't even know, 1,000 shares, like people are DMing it to other people. I think that that's probably an element for the algorithm of like create content that people want to share with other people, you know, like a video you come across that you're like, oh, this is interesting. And that makes sense because, you know, I share a lot of, I'll find a toddler recipe and like send it to my mom.
So here it is. I have the key for success. If you think about that video that you think is going to go viral, do the complete opposite. Like if you think, oh, I'm going to make a DIY video and it's going to be very informative. People are going to learn how to make a bird house. No, that one is not going to be. But how about that bird house, when you hang it, it falls and it crashes in your kid's head?
Well, yeah,
that one is going to go viral.
It is, because it's been proven, I mean, I've done research into this, that negative videos, right? Negative outcomes and negative videos are going to have higher engagement because people don't want to see like, oh, this is what I'm doing. These are my New Year's resolutions. They want to be like, this is what I'm not doing, you know, or, you know, they want to talk about fails and things like that. So yeah, I think people are just inherently more interested in that's more relatable. No one wants to see a perfect aesthetic. People are tired of that, you know, like, oh, this is perfect. So a lot of people have been sending me this video.
I don't know why I haven't gotten viral.
Because you don't do shit on social media.
Yeah, but my aesthetic is shit. So also.
But a lot of people have been sending me a funny video. I guess there's this mom kind of who, she's not a comedian, but she does a lot of funny videos. So she'll stitch those parenting videos that are like, instead of saying no or stop, try this instead. And it cuts and she turns around, you know, she's like in the car and she turns around like, if y'all don't fucking stop, I'm gonna throw all your shit out the window. Like she'll do that kind of thing. And it's so funny because it's so true. You know, it's the kind of reaction that you often want to have. I don't think, you know, none of us are perfect parents. So yeah, I just like sharing relatable content. So there's that. But yeah, I don't think I intend on doing much more security cam fails, or I'm gonna become, a lot of people are calling me an alcoholic, which is just the funniest thing to like all of you that know me, because you know I don't drink very much yet. That week between Christmas and New Year's, I was definitely having like a glass of wine, smoking some pot, whatever, like every single day, you know, in the afternoon. And life was much, you know, life is great. And then I go like a whole year hardly drinking alcohol. So it's so funny. People are like, I've gone back through some videos and she has drinks in multiple videos. And it's like, well, let's talk about props in a picture for a second, because that's a whole nother conversation, girls. You know what I mean? But it's just so funny because, I mean, you know, I don't even drink that much. Like, it's not much of a concern, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you want a glass of wine or something this morning?
Yeah.
A mimosa to start your day? Screwdriver?
No, I'm not an early morning drinker. I like it like around 3, 4 o'clock is nice.
It's like justifiable.
No, it doesn't have to be justifiable, I don't think. But it is just funny because it is true over the holiday. But, you know, people see a 10-second glimpse of who you are and make this analysis, you know, and that's difficult. That's hard. Yeah. So I don't know. Very interesting. But major parenting fail over here. It does bring up an interesting conversation, and we're having a pop-up actually at Fitish this weekend. Hopefully we still have some tickets available.
Are you going to show face?
No, we're doing a different approach. I'm actually having 2 licensed therapists that they treat mostly adolescents, but it's this really cool organization. And I thought I had this idea that I'm like, mental health is just, it's so important to me. And I think it's just an important subject in general, but they're going to come in and speak about really some like relatable content, giving great advice, doing a Q&A. So hopefully y'all are interested. Those of you, especially that live in the DFW area, will buy some tickets and come to that. It's going to be similar to all the other pop-ups. We're just not exercising. We're going to be sitting there. We got notebooks for everyone, and they're going to do 2 different discussions, like one on just kind of self-care, just like your own mental health and tangible ways to improve your own mental health. And then the second level of that is going to be really offering a lot of nice advice for moms for like relationship building with your partner, and also just kind of managing your child, managing your own emotions when it comes to parenting. And so I guess I'll ask them, I'll ask the experts, how should I have handled this situation best, if I don't want to beat the shit out of my kid, which is just, I get it, okay? Like, I understand why people want to do that, for sure. Remy's been hitting me a lot, for instance. He's in the throwing and hitting phase. So he hits me a lot. And Fern and I are kind of getting to that point of like, how do we handle this? Like, don't give a big reaction, or then he still continues to do it. He can't regulate his emotions right now. So
I was having a conversation with my mom about that yesterday, and I was like, he keeps hitting. And my mom was very adamant. Do not allow it. He's like, okay, mom, how do you do not allow it? Yeah. We tell him not to do it. He keeps doing it. Like, I was like, well, that is parenting. Is like, okay. So the advice that I got from my mom is that it's, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom was a sadist.
Was a what?
Like sadistic.
Oh.
Because my dad was violent in a normal Mexican way. Like, he used to get the belt and beat the shit out of you. But my mom was like very, very discreet. Like, my mom could have been in the middle of a store, having her hand on my shoulder, inflicting so much pain so much pain that nobody knows.
Right. That's scary.
Yeah. Or she had this thing, like when she was really mad and you were doing something really bad, she grabbed you by your sideburn.
Oh, yeah.
And just, that was another level of pain.
I feel a lot of ways about this, as I'm sure you do as a first-time parent. And I bet parents with multiple children can speak to this even better, because every child's so different, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I would never spank my child. I mean, it's not the approach I prefer to take. I think it's kind of last on the list. But, speaking with other women that have had multiple kids, when they say every kid's different, I get it. I mean, think about us as adults. Like, we react differently to different sorts of disciplines or punishments in a way, right? That some kids don't need it as much. My mom, for instance, just using her and me as an example, she said with me that she spanked me 1 time, maybe 2 times, and I gave her this very sad look, like, I don't.
Now everything makes sense. I said, now everything makes sense. Maybe we all need a little more spanking than that.
Well, that I looked at her and I was like, I don't really like that, or I would kind of give attitude back. So she said she just kind of had to edit and figure out what was the punishment for me that would prohibit me from doing anything. And she said, believe it or not, I wasn't that bad of a kid, but if I was ever kind of bratty or acting up, that she would send me to my room. But I was an only child. I loved being in my room. I was fine being alone, but I really loved books, and I loved like buying books. And so she started taking all the books out of my room, which I know sounds so fucked up. And she said it was weird because it's like, I'm taking books away, but that's what I really liked. So
Nazi.
I think there's that kind of approach of like, well, what is the punishment that teaches them? Like, I don't think corporal punishment is always the way. Maybe it is for some kids, and maybe that's what works, or just the fear of it, But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. She said I used to pull her ponytail a lot. My mom and I had really long hair, and I would pull her ponytail. So she said one day she just like pulled my ponytail super hard to the point that it kind of made me cry. And she said I never did it again. And so, I don't remember that. I believe her. I don't remember it, which also shows like, I don't think kids always remember. You're right. Sometimes once is enough. But look, we're all just figuring it out. I'm not perfect. I haven't even, every day I'm figuring out how to mom.
Yeah.
I think we have to kind of adapt.
And I think in this day and age, we have come a little farther along than when we were kids. We have come farther along in being a little more perceptive and being a little more observative of what's happening in the surrounding of our kid. Like, if he's acting out, maybe he's not acting out because he just wants to act out. Like, there's a lot of things that happen in his head that it's not.
Yeah, like he had a double ear infection and no one knows that.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
he had a double ear infection.
Right.
And he is very curious. We don't understand how things and reactions create a train of thought on our kid's brain. Like, yeah, maybe his intention wasn't upsetting you. His intention was seeing what could happen if he throws that cup, and what was the thing that was follow up of that. I don't know.
Well said, Fran. We have to take a quick break and hear from a couple of sponsors of the show, but I have an update on our ER visit. The hospital called me, actually.
Nice.
So
From
I need help.
mofo?
I need help deciding what to do. We'll talk about it after we take a quick break. This podcast is sponsored by For Wellness. Y'all know I love coffee. It's so funny to me when people say, I'm not doing caffeine as my New Year's resolution. Okay, good for you. I'm still going to have my coffee. But the thing about For Wellness is their best-selling product, the good stuff, is a performance coffee supplement. So not only do you get to avoid swallowing your supplements in the morning, as you know, not dealing with that aftertaste, this is such a cool product. And I just started trying it in the last month. I've been loving it. So the good stuff supercharges the natural benefits of your coffee with one scoop. So you're going to have better focus, reduce the caffeine jitters, increase your collagen. This supports fat burning with the power of these 5 key ingredients. Okay, so it features L-theanine, collagen, MCT, cinnamon, and Himalayan salt. I love this. It's kind of been serving as a replacement for my creamer because let's be real, I like to put a lot of the bad stuff in my coffee. So I've been trying to improve my, my morning ritual, and For Wellness has just been so yummy. It was actually founded by world-renowned performance coach Dave Phillips. He's worked with some of the world's highest performing athletes, and he saw his athletes struggling with their health. They were in need of a simple, delicious way to get functional ingredients into their daily routines. And so, he's been, supporting all of these pro sports stars for a really long time. And I just absolutely love this. I think the taste for me is always really important because, whether you're taking supplements or any of these kind of powders, right, it can just kind of leave this lingering taste that's just like, no, that's not for me. But I love still being able to, indulge and treat myself to my morning coffee, but know that I'm getting all of these other great benefits. And For Wellness isn't just the good stuff. If you're like, well, Jenna, I don't drink coffee, they have all sorts of other, snacks and kind of supplemental products that are really delicious. But I will say that the good stuff supplement is what I've been using the most. For Wellness offers superfood focus bites, and that's something Fran's been really liking. He loves snacking, and this is just a great snack that tastes like a chocolate brownie, except it has nootropics like lion's mane mushroom and cacao. And one other thing I've been keeping in my purse are these tart cherry recovery gummies for muscle soreness. They have so much stuff. So please go check it out. You get a 60-day money back guarantee. You don't have anything to lose. So if you drink coffee, it's time to give For Wellness a try. Head to forwellness.com/Fitish and use the code Fitish for 25% off your order. Once again, that's forwellness.com, forwellness.com/Fitish for 25% off, and make sure you use our promo code Fitish, Fitish, so they know that we sent you. As much as I say I don't make New Year's resolutions, I'll be honest, I always have grand plans of like cooking more, especially over the holidays. Things get busy, you're running around, you're eating on the go, you're eating leftovers or who knows what, right? A lot of ordering food online. And I've just loved HelloFresh and what they offer, and I'm getting back into it again, and just mainly because my resolution is to just cook more food at home because I want to save a little bit of money, have nutritious stuff, know kind of the quality of the ingredients and what I'm making, especially now that I'm a mom. And HelloFresh is just the best option, in my opinion, out of any of these services out there. So whether, your own resolution is to save money or you just want a more effortless way to have meals ready to make at home, HelloFresh is the solution. Each box is packed with farm fresh ingredients. Everything arrives pre-portioned right to your doorstep for less hassle and less wasted food. Time saving, not going to the grocery store. You get to kind of curate these boxes based on your preferences. Are you feeding a family of 2, of 4? I actually did the 4 now that my mom's living with us and we have Remy who's eating more. I'm really excited about it. And, we eat everything, but if you're pickier or you just want to lean more veggie or you don't want to eat veggie at all and you just want red meat, you have this option with HelloFresh. Go to hellofresh.com/fitishfree and use the code FITISHFREE for free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while your subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at hellofresh.com/FITISHFREE. That's all one, okay? FITISHFREE is the code. FITISHFREE. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. So y'all remember, and by the way, thanks a lot for reaching out. I love nurses. I love nurses so much. I hope nurses are as appreciated as I feel like they should be. And I don't know if you are, but I think ever since being pregnant and going through labor and delivery and then these ER visits with Remy and kind of I hadn't had a lot of nurse encounters, if that makes sense, luckily, until I got pregnant and went through all of that. So I just love nurses. I think that y'all just work so fucking hard and you're so much more hands-on than doctors. And, I don't know. I just really appreciate it. And because I had a lot of nurses reach out to me, speaking when we spoke and shared our experience about Remy's allergic reaction to the amoxicillin and like our 2 ER visits in one weekend and kind of the treatment that we got from that second ER doctor. And it's interesting because a lot of you told me you need to report that behavior. It's absolutely not okay. And some of you also kind of ragged on Medical City Dallas is where we were at. Actually, I might as well say it. I've had some nurses reach out and say, I'm biased because I work at Children's Dallas and all of our doctors are from UT Southwestern. And, we love our doctors and we've had a lot of other nurses move and say bad things about that hospital. And, I'm sure there's great doctors and staff at Medical City Dallas. We've had a fine experience here and there, but, we might want to check out another one next time something happens to him. But anyway, a lot of you told me to report it. And then then I was hearing about this story that this dad had like a really bad experience at the ER with his son. I don't know if y'all have seen this because he's kind of like a viral Instagram comedy dad, that shares a lot and has a lot of followers on social media. And it's like, oh, don't mess with that person, but he had a similar situation, had taken his child to the hospital for something and had really, really poor treatment from the doctor, the ER doctor that was on call that day. And they like wrote a report or filed a report about the whole thing. And the doctor filed a child abuse claim against the family and CPA came like as a retaliation. That's basically the gist of the story. And obviously he went public with the whole thing and was like, this is outrageous. So that was like shame on the doctor because I'm sure that's like easily traceable that like the chicken, like one thing came before the other. Anyway, so obviously I've been hesitant because I'll be that person that you could like treat me like shit and spit in my food and I would like still not leave a bad review probably. I don't know. I just like don't go out of my way to leave a bad review or it has to be pretty severe. But a lot of you encouraged me, like, you should definitely report that. I said something to the nurse that night. And then as luck would have it, it was like timing. Like, I got one of those emails that was like, review your provider and your experience at Medical City Dallas or whatever. And so I did it. And I was really...
And you were like, hold my wine.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I didn't just say like, ooh, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. You know what I mean? It was more like, no, like the check-in lady was nice because they ask you to review all of the different facets of the experience. And I thought I usually just ignore those emails when there's a good experience, which sucks too, because I would like to know about my business. If I was running a hospital, I'd like to know. So I thought, I was doing a good service, but I really think deep down, if there had been something more severe going on with Remy and, you were a type of parent that you just didn't know and you didn't know that you could kind of like advocate and have a voice and stand up, that's definitely how kind of aggressive I can be in that moment. shit could have gone really south. I mean, that's really bad. I mean, that doctor did not examine my child at all. He didn't turn on the light. He was in there for less than 60 seconds. He had such an attitude. We had been there for 5 hours. It was insane, you know? And so, yeah, so I left a review and I like typed out a paragraph and was just like, you know, the nurses were amazing. But like he was diagnosed with an ear infection. The doctor told us to leave and he had 103.5 fever. And I got a phone call a couple days ago. I just got a voicemail. I had missed a call and I'm like, and it was patient experience coordinator for Medical City Dallas calling to talk to me more about my experience. And anyway, so we haven't touched base yet. But I thought, gosh, I'm a little bit scared. Like I want to make sure I have like the doctor's name right because all I knew is the doctor's name that's like written in sharp dry erase on the board, you know, and that's kind of what I took memory of. But yeah, it is a little bit scary to be like,
I think it's really easy to describe him when people say, "Oh, that
I
guy."
know that doctor. Yeah, I know. It's just that, God, I hate to be, you know, what if my testimony gets someone fired? And then I told myself, well, maybe he should be, you know what I mean? Because
100%.
he's like out here like Dr. Death.
You know, like, I believe in true vocation. Being a doctor is not his true vocation.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I mean, that's what I see when I look at, don't y'all agree, those of you, especially that have gone through stuff with your kids, being a pediatric ER doctor, I mean, you're going to encounter very stressed out parents, very, very fragile situations, and parents that need reassurance. And we weren't even doing that. You know, we weren't even being like, is he okay? Asking a million questions. It was just like, you're going to release us for the second day when he's like, has an insane fever and was kind of hallucinating. Like,
and
what?
He's stupid, idiotic. I can hear him every day in my head.
Yeah, the attitude. Well,
He's
y'all
like,
believe us. I mean, he was just so condescending.
So, doctor, when should we bring him back? Like when he's like 104, 105, 106 of temperature?
No.
It's like, you know, humans can resist really high temps. You don't need to bring him back. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it was just so terrible. So anyway, I think, yeah, it's probably doing a nice service. And it sucks because, I mean, that sucks for the nurses that have to work with that doctor and the one that told me that he always gets terrible feedback. Like, why are you treating, how are you doing that for a living? I mean, go do something else. Like, you already have a medical degree. Like, you could literally probably spend a year and go do something else.
Some Botox or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But sure. Yeah, anyways. So yeah, I guess if y'all think that that's what I should do, then that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully, you know, hopefully it makes a difference. But yeah, what a shame. You know, what a shame. Just all of it is, yeah, that was a stressful experience. So,
It was. And,
you know, ever since then, by the way, I've been so uneasy. You know, we've joked, and those of you that have known Fran and I throughout all of this having a baby, I think it's been very clear, and we joke a lot about how Fran's been kind of the helicopter and I've been the fuck around and find out parent. Not to that severe degree, but like I'll watch Fran be really nervous when Remy's walking downstairs. At this point, I'm not nervous about it. Like I don't feel Fran's still like, and I'm like, oh, he's okay, you know? And that's just where you and I are different. But I've noticed since that ER visit, something in me kind of flipped and it's made me much more concerned and edgy.
I think it's, I don't know, but every time that you have an encounter like that, you realize the fragility.
That's what it is,
of
right?
Your kid.
And leaving the hospital that night, like literally seeing someone dead, basically. And I don't know. You know, I'm just kind of haunted by it. So much so that last week, Remy is, you know, with this whole thing, it's a lot, right? And by the way, some people have written us and said the same thing happened to my child and we didn't know what it was, but we're so glad you shared what happened because they had this rash, they were on amoxicillin. So apparently this, even though it's kind of a rare thing, we now, like how nice, I had never heard of it. So at least they feel a little better knowing it's going to like be bad and then go away.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that is helping people, you know?
I mean, I got a couple pictures from people that said it happened to them over the holiday, but the other night I was putting Remy down and he is drinking a bottle and he's silly, you know, and he drinks for like 10 seconds. He sits up on my lap on both knees like a little bird and he goes and he stops and he looks at me and it's dark, you know, and he's like, I drank it all. And he just puts his head on my chest and it like passes out cold. That is not normal. Like that does not happen. It was the strangest thing. And then I look at the bottle. I thought he was just playing around. I look at the bottle. He said one of like the 8 or 9 ounces, the big bottle we give him at night, 1 ounce. I look at it and I'm like, Remy, he is sound asleep, y'all, or passed out. I was freaked, obviously, because this is only like a week after the ER thing. And I'm going, I think he had a fever. I'm like freaked out. And I wanted to play it cool because I'm like, I bet he's just sick. I bet he's just really tired. He just needs to sleep. But who passes out like that? I drank it all and passes out after 1 ounce of milk. I was so scared, y'all. So of course I'm like, Remy, he's not waking up. And I am just like starting to cry. I mean, I was so freaked and I never get that way. And I went in and you were sitting in bed. I mean, Fran usually puts him down at night. I'm like, Fran, I think he's not okay. So we poor Remy, strip him, do the rectal temperature. He did have a fever. Turns out, it's an ear infection again. So that's a whole nother thing. So, we're kind of dealing with that and we're going to have to see a specialist about that. But, yeah, it really freaked me out. And I was just so upset, when we're doing it and he's crying. And I was just so worried the whole night. And yeah, it just really like turned on a switch in me that now I'm just like so fucking concerned about him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, our producer was just saying that like when you Google amoxicillin reaction, that if they develop severe hives, you should seek emergency medical attention immediately. That, also just so y'all know, obviously any kind of rash with an antibiotic, like yes, take your kid in. But Remy was presenting a fever and we had been told the day before that a fever is not always correlated with that. So like obviously 103.5 and your kid's kind of being woo woo and you're like, and when I took the laser, it was 105. I was freaked, I was freaked. Like, I know we've learned that babies and kids get a lot higher fevers than we do and they can be okay. But yeah, anyway, Stormy's just been sick and oh yeah. So much so too that last night I'm in bed and Remy's like having fun playing in our bedroom. And it was the most innocuous thing again, like the day that he fell and he was just playing, looking at himself in the mirror and he kind of took a step back, but hit the edge of the bed and then fell forward with his head into the mirror and it made a really loud noise. And usually I would go grab him. I just buried my head in my hands and Fran was going to pick him up and I'm like, oh my God, is he bleeding? Like I was certain he was going to have a big cut across his forehead. Y'all, he didn't even cry. It was just loud. Like he was fine. He didn't even cry. He was totally fine. And I'm just rattled right now, obviously, rattled by the whole thing. So
yeah, for sure.
No
and
one
I
talks
just had an
about-
amazing idea.
What?
We're gonna put like a film in all of our mirrors. I just thought about that. Like a protective film. So if it breaks, it doesn't kill them. Just a side note in our podcast.
Great. I can't wait.
Could have been an email.
Could have been an email. Yeah, could have been a text. No, it's a great idea, Fred. Go ahead. You knock yourself out childproofing the rest of the house. I think something that a lot of people, there's a lot that a lot of us or a lot of people in general don't talk about. So that's why I like to talk about it. But why does no one ever tell us I hate to say burden, but the emotional burden of parenting, right? I mean, and I hate to say the burden is not the right word that I'm looking for. Kind of the, to love something so much, you know what I mean? That you feel this amazing sense of love, but it's also that side of intense anxiety and concern and fear that like, I couldn't go on if something happened to him, and you like are very aware of that every single day for the most part, especially acutely aware when something medical is going on with your child. And, you're so aware of how quickly that blood work could come back and things could turn and you have to stay in the hospital. And I'm sure some of you have gone through that sort of thing. And it's just so much to carry. You know what I mean? It's such a heavy weight is what I should say of just like, I know that's the flip side of feeling that level of love that everyone talks about, and all these comments I get from people on that video are like birth control, condom commercial. This is why I'm never having kids. I fucking hate kids. Kids fucking suck, like abort, they're like making all these comments and it's like kind of jokes on you, right? Because I think in general, like people say it. I didn't feel that way out of the gate. I mean, I was excited, but like the love, I mean, it's a drug for sure. Like I've never felt the sort of feeling that I have. I mean, even leaving this morning, he just came up to me and he was just like, I love you. And he hasn't really done it that clearly and out of nowhere in the moment. And it was just the sweetest thing. And it made my mom tear up. And, and I'm sure those moments get better and better as they communicate more. But just that flip side of, that weight, that you feel heavy in your heart every day, just always so concerned about them, hoping it's a miracle that we all even get through life sometimes.
So in my situation, I have a lot of friends with kids. And I have millions of cousins and nieces.
Yeah. A lot of ex-girlfriends with kids.
I have heard that before. Like people have actually told me how this is.
It hurts. Yeah.
But you just don't listen. That's something, it's like when someone tells you like flying in a foggy situation, you're going to need to use these certain type of situations if you're the pilot. Like, yeah, I don't care about that conversation. I'm not a pilot. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like when they're telling you about how hard it is to love a child, and it's like, oh, good. Like it goes right past you until you have a kid. You remember, oh my God, they were actually honest. How tough it is. How not tough. It's how
it is
taxing.
Tough. It is taxing. It is tough. It is worthwhile. It is fulfilling. It's all of this range of emotion. And a lot of people say just wait till they're teenagers, and then you have this whole other thing you're trying to manage. And I just think the lesson for me and being an older, getting started on this journey is that something that's really helped me and is helping me, and it's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress as a mom, but I really give myself a lot of grace. Like I'm not beating myself up about my reaction the other night. I mean, it was natural. It was normal. I may do it differently next time, right? Like that's all you can ask for. Like I really just look at life as like, I think that was a funny memory and funny moment, and I'm sharing it to make you feel also good about those moments. And I feel like I do give myself a lot of grace. I try not to beat myself up about, I felt awful that time he had to get stitches too. I think there's a lot of moments like that you just kind of get through. You probably get scar tissue, as this happens. And I'm sure with the second kid and third kid, like when we meet other parents that have a third, they're like letting that little girl like climb like, oh, she has two brothers, it's fine. And man, that has to feel good. Like you feel so much better because you're like, you've been through like kid war, like you know what it's like.
No,
and so,
you've seen these guys just go down from like 6 feet tall, like ladder, and nothing happened, and you start saying, "Oh, that thing is unbreakable."
Yeah. So anyway, I'm trying to just enjoy.
Also, you have spare kids, like
spares.
Yeah, like that one. Nah, we already have two.
I wonder though, do people? No, but You're saying that, and I know that you don't mean it, but kind of like
100%.
I think that, when you talk about when something happens to a child, but you have 4 others, obviously you're still, the grief is probably almost unbearable, but you at least have other kids, right, to kind of get through that. Like if it's your only one and that happens, I would think it's a different level. So, and I think about that a lot. I want to have another kid. I'm saying this for the first time in front of everyone on the show and to Fran. I think you don't.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence, I
never thought I'd be the one to come at it. I thought Fran, obviously, I was like, marry Mexican. Like, they'll want to have a lot of kids. I don't want to have a lot of kids, but I always said I wanted 2 because I was an only child and it was okay. But, being older, where are we going to be like 60 when he's 20? 59? That's okay if we take care of ourselves, but I don't know. I look at
drink
siblings and do y'all want to have more kids? I'm asking our producer. Do y'all want to have more kids? You're kind of, she does, and you're kind of, I didn't mean to like put you on blast on the show. Our producer has, you're what, 6 months behind us about, right? I think so. Yeah. So,
also 15 years behind us.
Yeah, are you that much younger? 30?
Motherfucker.
Stop. I didn't know you were that young. Fuck you. Fuck.
I remember when I was in that seat, like
no
when I was
wonder
like,
you have plenty of time. He's like another kid. I have he's 6 months behind us, so you still have a second. No, I get it though. The point is Remy turns 2 in February. I'm warming up to it. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Those of you listening that have one, that only had one, that have 2. If you had 3 or more, I'm not interested in hearing from you. I don't want that many. I don't know how you're doing it. I think it's amazing. I do understand that when they're all, in their 20s, life is probably so fun when you have a bunch of kids and they're all adults. But I think this period of time is really hard. And I think I it's hard, y'all. Like, I mean, financially, let's just talk about the obvious facts. Financially, the house that you live in, kind of managing the time management of, Fran and I, what I love is that, Fran is a saint in the way that, I mean, I have to kind of fight. I have to, that's not a first, fuck you.
Okay.
I say
now
this,
we are back on track.
I say this to you all the time, and the audience knows I compliment you so much more about parenting than you do me, which is so fucking annoying. Yesterday, you were like, I'm glad we didn't, you say such shit things to me about my parenting at night in the kitchen. You know exactly what you were saying to me last night.
What did I say?
To the point that I walk off and almost cry and go sit in
What
the
did I
room.
say?
Last night,
Yes.
when we were in the kitchen,
Yeah.
or the day before when you talked about how when I like gave his booty a little bump with my foot and he fell over
when you kicked
forward.
him.
I didn't kick him. I didn't mean he was being
I
dramatic.
have video.
He came over and
I
hit me.
also have video
And
of that.
oh yeah, could you imagine if I posted that? I went like this to his butt if you're watching on YouTube.
No, you need to post it now because you're gonna go double viral.
No, I'm not posting that
Maybe
one.
child protecting services are gonna come by, but
he came over, he hit me, and he turned around to walk away, and I kind of just went to like tap my butt with his foot, but he like fully fell forward, like fell down, and then Fran, of course, is bringing it up, nonstop. No, I just wanted to say that, I don't even remember. I was going into a compliment there,
you were
by the
saying
way.
that I'm a saint. Let's go back on that track.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about how I have to like fight you to put him down at night. Oh, yeah, talking about having multiple children. So let's rein it in, back on track. What a lot of parents have told me is that, yes, it's amazing because like I see it now. The second one is probably easier in the newborn stage in a sense, not physically for me. I really hated being pregnant. I really struggled with it. I was thinking last night kind of about all those like it aches and like still feeling your uterus pounding for like months. And like, the farther away you get from it, I do recognize that you kind of forget some of those moments, like bleeding uncontrollably for weeks and months. And I just struggled with my recovery and just my emotions and how I felt. And I was lucky. I mean, I don't think I had any postpartum depression, but a lot of parents have said the real hard part is, you're no longer as much of a team anymore. Like you're kind of zoning, which I guess we zone defense around the house too with my mom there. But, it's more like either I would be with the newborn and, Fran's entertaining Remy. And that's kind of how that would go, right? Like you're kind of splitting up at night or in the morning and you're both very busy that you have even less time for each other, which has been a huge struggle for Fran and I think, and it's been hard on us on our relationship, right? Just being honest. But that right now, I think what's so nice is, you put him to bed most nights. I realize I have to kind of like fight you for it now if I want, but I'm home a lot more during the day, so I get my time and my outings in during the day together, but you're always getting up with him in the morning and, or like last night, for instance, he woke up in the middle of the night, which was kind of weird and he was thirsty and Fran, if he's going, Papa, he was just talking. Fran's like, should I leave him? And I'm like, was like half asleep. I'm like, yes, like let him figure out to go back to sleep. And like, I swear, Fran doesn't make it 10 fucking seconds and he goes in that bedroom and then I know he's stuck in there. So then they sleep in the recliner until this morning. But point is, you're so great with that. And I think that it allows me that time at night, when I've been kind of on the clock with him since the afternoon and then doing bath time and then Fran takes over and like, we'll put him down at night. That gives me that hour to like get back working, the work that I didn't get done between when I was hanging out with him from like 2 to 5 or whatever. I get like another hour of work. And maybe that sounds selfish, but I need it, like I need that time to work or I need that time to just relax. And I think when you do that second kid, that's going to go out the window for a really long time, like it's going to be both of us back and forth all the time. So that's the hesitation there for me. I think just one's been a lot and one's been amazing, but I think about, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's a big sacrifice for women, right? Like for those of us that are actually going through pregnancy and postpartum and having the baby, there's a big sacrifice we're making with our work and our goals and our needs for ourselves, and our own emotions. And this may sound selfish saying it. I'm just trying to put it out there, but that I recognize that for me, that IVF and being pregnant, like for me, it felt like a 2 or 3 year sacrifice that I was making. Of course, I don't regret it at all, but to think about going through that again right now, it's a lot. It's a lot for me to kind of wrap my head around. And the financials of it. Fuck, like, how are y'all doing this with a bunch of kids? School and childcare and clothing and
So
like,
when I first moved to Dallas, just real quickly, the guy that I started working with, he was a great guy. He is a great guy. He had 5 kids,
wow.
5 or 6. And of course, Catholic. And there were a group of people in that same environment in our group of friends that had multiple kids like that. And they seemed really happy. Like all these families that, like, I used to go have dinner at his house, and it was just a lot of fun seeing their family dynamics, like who was taking care of who, like everything was seemed very organized. And I thought, like, I was also 24, and I was like, I would love to have 5 kids. Like, this seems fun. And now I realize that they just make it seem fun. Like they were good at it. Like, people are good at it. Like, people have a vocation to have multiples.
Yes.
But something I know is that he, for sure, even though he was very well off, business was good back then. And even though things were coming in, I knew that he was stressed out.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how I feel right now. Like, even coming to work this morning, y'all, like, I feel that, I'm not financially where I want to be. I don't have my business where I want it to be, or business has been a little slower than it was in years past, and I'm stressed about it. And I have so much to do around the house, and I'm lucky. I have some help. I have my mom there, and I feel, how would I have another, and still feel like I'm getting everything done? And I know at some point you just gotta not, but I think for me, and I'm sure a lot of us feel this way, I recognize why a lot of women or men, depending on the parent, like, will quit their job at some point to stay home, because it is so fulfilling and great, even though it's so hard, to be home. But I get it, because if you're not doing something that you love, or all your money's going to childcare and you're barely around, like, I understand why you do that. And I think for me, I keep saying, yeah, I would love to have another kid, but I would also love to be, like, even more present and be home and not have to be working as much. And I'm sure that's the way a lot of us feel. So I don't know. I would just love to hear from you if you decided to have a second kid, and kind of like the pros and the cons of it. I mean, I know it's everyone's personal decision, and just kind of the honest truth of it. Because I'm not trying to do that overnight. I don't even know if I could get pregnant naturally, and I'm definitely not at the place that I want to embark on that IVF again right now, because a lot of and have been through it. That journey's really, really difficult. And
we just should try a lot.
Try a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, you're open to that?
100% trying a lot, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if I were just I'm pregnant, maybe that's part of it. Maybe like that. I think that IVF really took a toll, honestly. Like, when I think about doing that again, so many women write me all the time, and it just makes me so emotional for you, because fuck, that process is so hard to have a baby,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it again. And, like, props to women that go through that 6 and 7 times. And I feel for you, because that process is so painful and so difficult and expensive and emotional and worth it. Sure. But, like, you got to, like, really amp yourself up to get through that, Well, anyway, I'm always happy, and a resource here for IVF questions and things like that. But parenting advice, what to do when your child's a maniac monster. I'm here for you, because I'm an expert.
Yeah. Wine.
Wine. I know. And I'm so sorry. I sound like shit today. I just can't get over whatever this is.
We all sound
My
the
mom has
same.
diagnosed me with cedar fever. She's like, it's cedar fever. So apparently that's what it is. But anyway, welcome back to the new year. I hope y'all are doing great. I hope, I would love to hear from you, all the things you're not going to be doing this year. I'm trying to I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm not sure if you know that about me, but that's just not something that I embark on. I don't. You can start them at any time of year. Don't worry about getting off to the right start a few days into the year. Yeah, you can start it at any
Just
time
know
you
that
feel like
anytime you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Leave us on that note. So, we might have some travels coming up as well. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff. I love friends, like, exciting stuff. I'm going to gift us a trip, and I'm thinking, like, how long are we going out of town for, and how much do I need to pack for Remy? I should let Bram pack.
Exciting
I'm gonna let Bram
One-
pack.
but
Yeah. No,
the
that
thing
just
is that-
stresses me out even more, friend. Stop. That just stop. No.
The thing is that you do things because you want to do them, because I'm pretty capable. Logistically,
Bram's
I'm really
the person
good.
that does the laundry or all men like this at 11 o'clock the night before
Because
the
it's
trip.
my
So then it's
laundry.
like keeping me right.
But if it were to be Remy stuff, I'll prepare, I plan.
You
I'll,
don't ever
I'll
do Remy's
road
laundry.
track. Every time that I do laundry, Remy's laundry is intertwined.
Sometimes I wonder like what simulation you're living in. You know what I mean? Intertwined because you accidentally picked something up. No, I'm just saying, we do his laundry like at least once or twice a day. We will have to wash his shit. But I'm just saying packing is it's a whole thing, right? With a kid. And I just feel better about traveling when I'm a packing expert now, by the way.
Yeah.
That is something I can own. I don't think I'd enjoy making packing videos on the internet, but I am so good at like making lists and packing, and I feel so good about it. It's really helped with my flying anxiety.
Amazing.
So
I would not
I
take
make
that
a
away from
list,
you.
and I packed the exact number of diapers on a 7-day trip one time. I packed that is fucking cool, no? Whatever. You're whatever to you.
The mere fact that you know the bowel movements of our kid, it's pretty impressive. And
I
I think
was
you're
so
a
excited for
wonderful
myself.
mom because of that also.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next week, but please write me because I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your multiple...
Enjoy your 2024 and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Bye.